Welcome to another episode of Real and Uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
I go by the name of Eman Music.
Ctez.
Got my co-host Ctez. And today we got a special guest, Chris. I kind of did some research on you. You know what I mean? You got your hands in a whole lot of different things.
Yeah, a little bit.
If anything, would you like to introduce yourself and kind of tell the people exactly what you do?
Yeah, for sure. Well, appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate it. So I'm a music producer. That's what I do. That's primarily like how I came up. But what I do is I'm an artist development coach. That's the main thing that I do. I care about artists and I care about what they do for expression, and I care about it not being taken from them. You know, so knowledge is power. Knowledge is what creates the freedom. So that's what I do. I give artists freedom by giving them the knowledge. It's not easy without, going through the experience and all that stuff to know how to navigate this industry. It's a hard industry to navigate, and there's a lot of sharks in this industry. So what I do is that I step in the very beginning of an artist's career and teach them the game about the industry. Even before I produce records for them, before I take anything out of their pocket, I try to add to their pockets by giving them the knowledge. So that's really the industry doesn't want to develop you anymore because it's with technology,
absolutely,
you being an artist,
quick.
and they don't want to invest in people if they can make a quick buck out of a quick single and keep it moving to the next artist.
Returns.
Yeah.
I think one of the first episodes we did, we touched on Ice Spice and how people were criticizing her for a lack of artist development.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, it reflects on stage, and we've all seen that. But I feel like a lot of what you've done is able to help artists on the back end because artist development isn't just the artistry itself. It's understanding the business aspect and how you are. I don't want to, simplify it by calling you a product, but as an artist, you are what's being sold. You are what's being pushed.
Yeah.
You are the main part of the business.
Yeah.
And I know you've done that. You guys, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of developed a place for those artists to come to really foster that.
Correct. That's what we do. I mean, it's the studio. Okay, so you're an engineer, you're an artist. So like I've been in the studio business since 2002.
I was going to ask you that. When did you start? Yeah.
So I came in the game. I was an artist. I was a gospel artist actually. I was part of a Boyz II Men type group. Cool. And everybody was at the time. So
I mean, you be careful, man. We're gonna ask you to lay down some vocals.
Hey, listen, man. I'm ready. I'm always ready. But
get sanctified. For real,
yeah. I was in it for a while, but I quickly, like we discussed before off camera, I quickly realized that I wasn't an artist. It's not. I wasn't, and not even from a skills standpoint. Because to be honest with you. A lot of times I'll be more talented than a lot of the people I record. I'll be honest with you, but the truth is that it's not to shame anybody that comes to work with me. It's to build them up to a certain level. I feel like I need to be experienced. I need to be talented in order to build them up to a certain place. I mean, when they work with somebody, you want to be able to work with somebody that's competent enough behind the boards and in front of the mic. So that's how I approach it. So to answer your question, yes, I started as an artist, and then I realized, I went through a set of experiences where I kind of got cheated out of a few things. I said, I don't want to let other artists have that happen to them. In my little corner of the world, I know I was going to change the world, but I knew I was going to change those that came in front of me. So I started a recording studio in my mother's basement, East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Okay. And then I, kind of expanded from there and bought a commercial space in Brooklyn. And it was up from there. And then from the day I realized I didn't want to be an engineer. I didn't love sitting behind the computer for so long. I love to get out there with artists. I love to do everything because as an artist, that's what I was. I was doing interviews. I was performing. I was touring. I was writing. I was producing, and I couldn't just do that from the chair the whole time. So I started hiring engineers and including, I've reached out to all of these companies, not companies, but these schools, IAR, SAE in the city, and I hired interns and I said, yeah, y'all do it. And, that's how I met my partner. So he's not here right now. His name is Junior. But I messed around and met Junior. He was one of the best engineers I've ever had. And then he left me and went on, this stupid idiot went on, he left me. I want him to see this too. And fucked around and became a triple platinum producer.
Jeez. How dare you, bro?
How dare you, bro?
My guy?
This fucking guy, bro. Fuck this dude, bro. But anyway, he messed around and produced for A Boogie, got 2 records. They went triple platinum combined. And then years later, we reconnected. And that's how we met our mutual friend Esme, and how we connected today. But from that whole set of time between meeting him and I've been developing artists, you know, some have gone on to do millions and millions of streams around the world. Some you may know, some may not know. Well, most you may not know, but some you do. And yeah, that's just what I do, man. I try to, like, you know, because the thing is that when you don't have much leverage as an artist, you sign any type of crazy 360 deal.
That's
So
the craziest part about it.
Yeah.
And as you said before, knowledge is powerful in this game. And I feel like even from jump, a lot of artists kind of boil down being an artist into just the artistry itself and then the money.
Yeah.
And they forget all of the stuff that happens in between.
So much, bro. There's so much stuff that happens in between, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Ctez, 1/3 of Real and Uncomfortable. We understand the overwhelming feeling of trying to find insurance, the overwhelming feeling of trying to protect your assets, building your businesses, and ensuring that you're covered in times of danger, times of loss. And because of that, we've gotten in touch with one of the leading providers of insurance in Westchester County. Daniel Guiney, he prides himself on morals, respect, synergy, and to that point, it's not just a company, it's a family. And he'll treat you like family. He'll put you right in the best positions to find efficient solutions for your insurance needs. It's complicated, we get it. Long documents, lots of paperwork, tons of language that even the most well-read people have no idea what they're talking about. But he's taken the morals and named his company just after his grandfather, who instilled those same morals into him. Zara Risk Management is a place for you. He's partnered with the leading insurance providers and can find the best package and deal for you. Visit westchesterhomeinsurance.com for your free consultation with Daniel today. He'll take care of you, treat you like family. Now let's get back to the show.
Like you said, I don't like to call human beings products, but I like to call what they do a product. What they do, their skill, what they create is a product. And the music industry that we are a part of now, content is king.
Yes.
Content is key in every industry.
I say this all the time.
It's everything, bro. And it's shifted the value of what you sell from, I'm not going to say it's not important anymore, but the music itself,
the substance itself isn't
as important as you, the brand.
Yes.
And shifting that mindset, that's how I approach artists. I say, you got to stop thinking about, because artists, you know, creators, like we get in their little bag and they start making music and they work on one song for like mad long, you know. 'Cause I work with a lot of singers, I work with a lot of R&B artists. Rappers ain't like that. They come in, I'm sure.
I got a couple of rappers.
Oh, you got, they do the same thing to you?
He had a song from 2014. I'm not going to mention his name. You know what I mean? Yeah. But 2014 that he still ain't dropped and he's still working on.
Nah, bro.
I'm like, you got let it go.
You gotta let it go, bro.
I told him,
they're never gonna be successful.
Yeah.
No, artists like that will never be successful. They gotta get out their own way. At the end of the day, you'll work. And I know from personal experience, with my singing group, we had a song, and it's appropriate. The name of the song is called "Pain Won't Last Too Long," because that shit lasted a long time. We worked on that song for 5 years and never put it out. Wow. So artists won't get out their way. No, so I try to coach artists to understand that you are the brand. What comes out of you is food for people.
Yeah.
People want to digest it. This music you make is not babies. If you think it's your baby, your song is your baby, ain't nobody can ever critique it.
Right.
That's it.
And it'll be nobody. It'll be nobody's but yours.
That's the best way
Speaking
to
of, it won't be perfect either.
It would never be perfect. Your baby's perfect.
Absolutely.
But your food is never perfect, but people digest it. I mean, every restaurant you've gone to, even your most favorite restaurant, don't got perfect food all the time, you know. But you serving people, and if they say it's too salty, you dial the salt back. You know what I'm saying? If they say they want a little bit more sugar, why you give them what they want, because you giving them something to consume, and that's what your music is, you know. So that's how I approach the game. That's how I approach it. And generally, when artists are armed with those tools, just as an artist, you create more leverage for yourself when your music and the way you approach your brand is a little bit more, you have more knowledge about how you approach your brand, and then you can remit more of a bigger slice of the pie when people approach you in that way, you know. But if they approach you like you don't know shit and you just begging for stuff, you're going to get any type of shitty deal.
That's a fact.
Any type of deal. So
have you created like I know you've worked in studios, you have people come together, you've obviously dealt with people who are educators in that regard. Do you have like a label yourself that people can like be directly affiliated with you? Because if I'm looking at this as an artist, this sounds pretty good. Somebody who's invested in the development side of it to get me to greatness?
So I wouldn't call it a record label. Well, what it is that it's called the Bakery Music Group. So my partner, Junior, that I mentioned before, we own this company called the Bakery Music Group. And what it is basically it's a production and artist development company. Now, you don't really sign with us. We choose to work with you, but we evaluate everybody we work with, and we try to like invest our time and energy in the people that we feel like is fruitful ground. So the way we work, we hold artists, we hold writing camps. We also hold development camps. So we bring people into the studio in groups and we work on your music. So we directly, so you'll have a triple platinum producer working with you just off a lot of people don't have that access.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Access is everything.
Access is everything. Resources is everything. So I hold writing camps. I hold production camps, and I also hold Zooms. So I have bi-weekly Zooms with my partner at Republic Records where we give game, basically. And they're able to submit their songs, get direct feedback for their songs, and we tell them why the song is not a hit or why it can be, and then link you with people. And if we identify any hits, we have a direct link to Republic Records. It's the biggest record company in the world. I mean, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, everybody's on that label.
Oh, for sure.
And we know everybody over there. So I wouldn't say everybody, but we know movers and shakers. So, people that's coming up that just, I want to do music and then have a direct link to me, you already have a direct link to basically everything you need to start your business. So that's what we do. But in order to filter out the good and the bad, we hold these camps to identify talented people and people that are like, because talent is like 10% of this thing. 90% is the commitment and the character and the capacity to be great, so yeah.
In other words, do not sign up if you are not ready to hear honesty about your music.
If you're not ready to work, man, like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
the
like
commitment to the work ethic, the grind.
Yep.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Absolutely, man. Because I mean, that's the differentiating factor in everything that we do. I mean, engineers, producers, artists. Like, what makes you a part of that like elite class, that elite tier? I mean, like, you guys see me come with a LeBron hoodie. I'm a big LeBron fan. You know what I'm saying? And I respect him obviously because his game, but I respect the commitment. Like, everybody that talks about it, he spends over $1 million on his body.
It's his body, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Recovery.
And that's the Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things about great, like, people that are great at what they do. That's the differentiating factor, is the work. The work. Everybody that's great has put in a certain amount of hours into this that it's not seeing nobody else, or nobody's being able to see that. So, yeah, if you're gonna come, you gotta be ready to work.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So you said you're connected with like some really good names, big names.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I'm not one of those people that likes to name drop.
No, not
to
at
be
all.
honest, but I did get I cut my teeth working with Beyonce early in the days on her B-Day project, and I did produce a record for Kelly Rowland, and that's what I alluded to before. Some of the business side of this thing that I learned early on, that I wanted to steer artists clear to closing doors, just because I got cheated out of certain things, but I have worked with some people in the past, some, like you said, those names are the ones and some other names you may not know. I've worked with over the years an Asian rapper named MC Jin. I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
Jin.
He run Freestyle Fridays on 106 Park.
Oh, I love
it.
That's the only Jin we know.
Yeah. He was in Fast and Furious and stuff. So I did 3 albums with him.
Yeah. That's the only Jin we know.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. Love that guy. He's literally, I mean, probably nobody's paying attention over here, but he's murdering the game in China right now.
Beautiful.
Like
Love that.
he's killing it in China right now. He's doing his thing. That's we brothers, man. But I've worked with him. I've also worked with another Asian artist as well over the years, and then also worked with a bunch of other artists that's gotten signed. Some have, fizzled out, gotten dropped. Some have still having careers now. So I've worked with artists on many levels of the game, and it's I start to see like things that work and things that don't. Yeah, from a production standpoint. But yeah. And
how have you started to expand a little bit? I know that you You work with a close mutual friend of ours, Esme. I know you guys have a couple projects. Yeah. She kind of spoke to those a little bit to me, but I kind of want to let you kind of
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm gonna let you guys can definitely check it out. What what she is gonna say about it specifically, but from a production standpoint, we're helping her with our documentary. She's got a story.
You got a story.
She's got a story, and she's one of those. There's few people you run across that are like. They're like, yo, how is your life the way it is? Like, it's crazy. Like, you're like an interesting person. She's a very interesting person, and her life story is very interesting. So we're trying to encapsulate that whole thing into a documentary. How we're gonna break it up, we have to discuss that. But that's something. That's one of the main projects we're working on, and then she's also helping us get our word out there as far as what we offer, because it's unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know that I thought.
No. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
So with that said, first off, you seem like the right person to help bring forth a lot of people's stories. Whether it be her, whether it be other artists taking their music and putting their story into their music and making sure it reaches the right people. I kind of want to ask, of the artists that you've seen, what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle for artists to take their personal stories, I guess?
That's a great question, bro. That's a great question. Man, the biggest obstacle is themselves. Because a lot of artists, like I deal with a lot of artists that don't really understand where they are. And let's talk about Ice Spice, since you guys had a discussion about her. When she came out, I thought she was hot garbage, bro. Like I really thought, but I have a lot of respect for where her and her team has brought her to.
Absolutely.
And team is a key word, but
team is
absolutely team. Like, and no disrespect if anybody from Ice Spice team sees this, but to be honest with you, if anybody told you that they didn't think she was garbage, they lying to you, bro. Like, I thought she was hot garbage, bro, because I'm a kid of the 90s, so like the way I gauge rap is different, but I got a lot of young boys that I work with that tell me differently. That one of my interns was like, nah, when she first came out, nah, she a vibe. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Like, she can't basically hold a mic in front of her face. I'm an artist development coach. Understand? That's where I'm coming from. I need to see you perform. I need to feel like I want to like buy a ticket to a show. She did not make me feel like that in the beginning, but the thing, and this is why labels don't invest in artist development, because they have somebody like an Ice Spice. But hear me out. Ice Spice is like one of a million.
She is.
Like, that's not happening to the average artist.
Right.
That's
No,
not happening.
It's not.
It's not happening to the average artist. Like, she just found lightning in the bottle. People do not develop like that. They don't develop like that.
She kind of developed on the fly.
On the fly with a lot of like luck. A lot of luck. It's not something that's repeatable.
Right.
And then obviously the Nicki look just took her out of the stratosphere.
Right. Yeah.
But what I would say is this, to answer your question, I kind of deviated, but getting out of your own way as an artist and understanding who you are, where you are, and who you should be emulating. A lot of artists, they pick up Instagram and they look for their favorite artists and emulate them, but they're in a whole nother stratosphere than you. They're operating, like, they've cleaned their Instagram 3 or 4 times based on every level they go. When they were grinding like Summer Walker, she was doing covers. She was looking mad regular, doing covers on social media, and that's how she got discovered. It wasn't like what she's doing now you should emulate. And a lot of artists do that, and they get in their own way, and they don't.
Skipping steps.
You're skipping steps, bro. There's a grind. And that's one thing that Esme has taught me too. Like, especially with the social media game, there's a level that you gotta grind to get to a certain tier to be able to get that type of fan base that is responsive. And that's something that I help coach artists, and I'm not the biggest expert at that, but I link them with people that can help with that, because it's a business. You're building yourself up, so to keep it short, that's how I help them get out their own way, and be able to create the type of music that tells their story on a high level, because a lot of artists think that their story is interesting, but it's not unless you make it interesting by the way you tell it. That's the key.
No, that's a bar.
That's the key.
There it is.
Yeah.
And E, you might be able to word this better than me.
Yeah.
So, making your story your own. Sometimes, from a technical standpoint, that involves a particular sound. How, as an engineer, how do you guys steer an artist to the right sound?
Yeah, I'll let you answer that first.
That's I feel like that's a tricky question. especially with the way that today's market is set up.
That's a loaded word.
Market. Yeah. No.
Market.
I'm trying to think of the right
set you guys up for that one.
When you think about back in the days, right?
Yeah.
You sounded like what you were around. We didn't have the internet to like, you know what I mean? Nowadays, you got a kid in California that might sound like he's from New York. You know what I'm saying? So sonically, it's a little tougher. But I want to touch more on the story thing. That's something that I keep telling artists in terms of you have to be able to know what is the story that you're telling. If you really look at the major artists that are on, they have a story attached to them. You look at 50 Cent. Queen, shot 9 times, boom. Jay-Z, Marcy, drug dealer, turned businessman. Eminem, 8 Mile, trailer park. There's a story attached to it that gets the audience, and they're able to keep up with you as an artist. If you just make dope music and that's it, and there's no story attached to it, they're going to listen to the song, but there's not going to be that connection. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So something that I tell artists all the time is, what is the story that you're telling? And once you have your story, build on that. You know what I'm saying? Figure out your message and build on that. Everything that you do, every brand that you associate yourself with, build on your story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because everybody's story is unique.
Right.
Like, that's the key. That's what is interesting. Because, you know, somebody like, I can imagine, like, you understand the best practices of making the song sound clean. Sound fire. But you can't I can't
tell you what your
tell
story
your
is.
story. He can't tell these artists' story. You can tell it sonically, but if they don't got nothing to start with, you're really making something doo-doo smell good a little better.
Sprinkling
you know
some
what I'm
flowers
saying?
on it, some rose petals on
Yeah,
it.
and I'm not, and that's why I screen everybody we work with, because I'm not interested in taking doo-doo and making it smell good. I'm not interested. I want to make something good, great. So, and one thing I would say, and because you said a keyword market, bro, and I know exactly what that loaded word means. It's that we are in this like social media instant gratification. So they see these artists pop out of nowhere, and these songs and these artists get famous. They don't realize that a lot of these artists that pop in and pop out, they ain't made shit.
Right.
Yeah.
They may look like money, but they not making money, bro. And they try to emulate those artists. Nah. And then they try to emulate the Ice Spices, the once in a lifetime type situation.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I go by the name of Eman Music from Real Not Comfortable. I'm here with my co-host, Ctez.
Yes, sir.
Raven.
Hey, y'all. All right, listen, y'all, I'm trying to put you on game. There's this new seltzer out there. So if you're trying to relax and feel a high without the hassle of smoking, make sure you stay tuned in to what we got to say.
We found it. We have it for you. It's Legally Highest, the world's first THC seltzer.
For sure. I mean, with only 5 calories and 15 calories, they got 2 different flavors. You got mango, you got lime. So if you got a little sweet tooth, definitely tap into the lime.
Definitely feeling that mango.
You know, if you're around the kids and you want to drink something discreet, this is the perfect refreshing drink. Sip it, nobody knows what's going on. You can enjoy a little high, you know what I mean?
Listen, you know what I heard? You can get high in 20 minutes, right? I think their slogan is like, get high in the blink of an eye. You know how fast I blink?
But you do have to be 21 or older to enjoy. So drink responsibly.
If you want to try some, definitely check out the website, legallyhighest.com, and make sure you use the code POLY20. Okay, you get a discount. Let's make it happen.
So remember, guys, if you're trying to spice up your chill time, feel a little buzz, make sure you drink Legally Highest THC seltzer and tune in to Real and Uncomfortable.
Stay elevated, everyone.
Stay elevated.
There hasn't been, and I'm talking about our music, you know what I'm saying? There hasn't been a superstar, all right? Think about this. I want y'all to really think in the 2010s, right? What's the last superstar that we had that popped in the 2010s? And this is a trick question.
We had this conversation. I agree. There hasn't been. I feel like Pop Smoke would have been.
Would have. That's a key.
He got cut short.
He got cut short.
He got cut short. But other than that, I can't.
Nobody, bro. And the last one we got is Drake.
Drake was it?
2009. That's not the 2010s, bro.
That's not the 2010s.
And I don't see nobody. That's not happening. Ice Spice is lightning in the bottle, but she's not Drake, bro.
Yeah.
She and I'm unfortunately, humbly, bro, humbly. I mean, and y'all could take these receipts. If it happens, take one of these receipts and throw it in my face.
Like, nah,
but listen, bro, there's
5 years from now.
5 years later.
No,
you know?
I agree. I agree exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I watched, my girl sent me this. There's like one of those graphs that she sent, you know, where over the years it shows you the top selling artists. And he's one of those graphs that it just keeps going up and down based on album sales, based on streaming, based on, you know, Beyonce has never cracked the top 10. This may sound crazy to you. we're talking about Beyonce.
Yeah, she's more of a picture of consistency.
But
than
she's
she
never
is-
cracked the top 10.
Yeah.
Drake has been in the top 10 for almost a decade.
Yeah.
Isn't he like from
Lil
number
Wayne
ones?
cracked it for a little bit. Rihanna was there for a while. And I'm talking about Sam Smith. I'm talking about like
Real pop crossover.
big
artist,
artists, crossover. That's the key.
Yeah.
A lot of our music
Crossover
isn't
appeal.
crossing over anymore because we're so like enamored with this instant gratification thing, and nobody's developing anymore. You got to understand, like Drake was on Degrassi.
Yeah.
Drake understood media and he understood like what it
How to
means
appeal to different
be
groups,
exactly.
demographics. Yeah.
He got both sides, and he's also half white.
Right.
You know, so like understanding how to speak to different audiences.
Everything.
So to back to your question, speaking to different audiences, that's something that has to be developed.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Tell your story. I mean, I'm a big Superman fan. So like the story of Superman, we all know.
It's universal.
It's universal. Bro, it has a beginning, it has a middle, it has every story. You can go Google how to create the hero's journey. That helps I coach that. Because listen, man, like some of the best artists that you know, let's talk about Drake. You know, he was a child, like he wasn't a star, but he was a child actor. He was into a lot of shit, but now it became this like clean cut, singing and rapping, R&B influence, all these dope cosigns, Wayne, Young Money, everything. Now it's like, oh, there's this interesting character that's changing music. You know, and that didn't happen just when he got successful. That was from girl, you are my everything. That was from the very beginning. Who's this little half-white dude that sound like Lil Wayne? Is he writing for Lil Wayne? I mean, you know, he just emulated everybody to the point where it's just like, oh, nah. And he's still doing it. Like, understand this. Drake, if you are popping, he will do a song with you.
What's
he's
that animal?
always-
You call it a culture vulture.
Yeah.
He's a chameleon to the
I called it a
fullest.
culture vulture.
But that's a talent
It's
within
like,
itself to be
nah,
able to adapt the way that he
Bro,
does.
he's
It's the
incredible.
Thanos
He's
thing.
incredible
Again,
at
like
it.
he's collecting
Bro.
styles, like, you know.
He's
Infinity
like
Stones.
Thanos correcting the
Yeah.
Infinity Stones, and he's
Yeah.
always gonna stay on top because of it. A lot of these
Right.
artists don't want to collaborate with these low levels.
that's it.
Bro, the Migos was not the Migos until he did that song with Drake.
Absolutely, Versace.
Think about that, and I try to tell artists that, bro, like if you have a sound and you believe strongly in a certain message that you have, you gotta go hard. Don't emulate from the standpoint of copying another artist's whole thing.
inspired.
Get inspired from it and create your own.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, the story, that's why I say it's a great question. And I understood the loaded comment because I know you are in the trenches with these artists.
Yeah.
And you understand,
That's
you
why-
hear
I've
the
seen
things they
struggle
talk
on his
about.
face sometimes.
Yeah.
No, it does get a little frustrating sometimes because it feels like I'm giving the gems and the jewels, but they're not
Well,
hearing
they're
it. And it's
determined
like,
to go in that direction. They got
and
tunnel
it's like,
vision.
Bro,
They
you're
think they
banging
know
your head
how to
against
get
a
it.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does get a little frustrating sometimes. It does.
Yeah, you got the hard thing. So what I do in my group is that I try to coach them out of that.
Okay.
Because and it's hard in the studio because again I'm an engineer like you.
Right.
In the studio session, you're trying to get a song done.
Yeah.
And
We gonna have a conversation off.
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
Because nah, you hitting it on the nail.
and that's why I created the space because it's not always the right space to have those conversations in is the studio.
Yeah.
That's why I said I need to take this out of the studio because I'm talking to you in the booth and it's just
It's going over your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
You're not
focused on what they're
the
trying to
setting,
do.
yo, man.
Yeah.
You
not
just
the
hit
right
me
setting.
with something. I'm not gonna lie.
No, absolutely.
You just hit me with something. I gotta think about this one. Okay.
Nah, it is, man. So it's one of those things where I decided that I love to see artists grow and develop. So I wanted to be able to create the forum and the like
the space.
the space for it, you know. So yeah, that's it.
With that said, right, one thing that I'm kind of taking away from this is that social media can become a hindrance to artists, right? But in the same breath, it can become a tool
It's
if
a tool.
used correctly.
That's
a
what it
tool.
is. It's a tool.
How would you recommend, if you could give a little quick gem to the artist that's listening out there,
Yeah.
how can they best use social media right now without letting it use them?
What if I gave you a TV network and you're the only thing on that TV network as an artist? That's the first thing I say to artists. I'm going to give you BET. Here, Tyler Perry owns BET. He just gave it to you. You create your own programming, create your own reality shows, create your own behind the scenes, create your own interview. Whatever you want to do with that channel, it's just going to be only you. That's what social media is really, that's how it benefits artists. It's your own TV show, TV channel. Because it's the same thing. If you were given a TV network, you still have to find a way to get people to watch it. Right? Same thing with social media. You still have to figure out, okay, what kind of shows do I want to be? What kind of brand? What do I want people to turn the channel to expecting? You have to decide what that is. I do a whole brand brief. I go colors, I go smells, I go sounds. Like what do you want to associate with Coca-Cola? What are you thinking about when you hear the word Coca-Cola?
Right.
Gotcha.
You thinking of how it tastes, the fizz. You thinking about the red bottle. You thinking about how to at a party. You know what I'm saying? You think about not drinking it too much. There's a lot of things you think about when you think Coca-Cola. McDonald's, same thing. Yeah. When I think about this X artist, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? What do you want it to be? You know, and brand. That's all it is. Brand is what you want people to engage you with. You know. Yeah. So social media is basically how you communicate your brand visually and sonically and all that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because a lot of people ask me in terms of branding, like what is branding? The way that I like to tell or explain to people is branding is how you make people feel after they've experienced what you got and leave your space.
That's a good way of putting it.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you come to my studio, the experience that you have, and you leave, what are you going to tell people about my space?
Correct. Absolutely. I love that. That's great.
So.
That's great. That's essentially what it is. It's what you will communicate to somebody else that hasn't experienced it. Right. You know, and that creates the reputation and it creates the brand. Reputation isn't brand, but brand can lead to reputation. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people think they're the same thing, but they're not. You know, but yeah, you're right. You're right. They know you as an engineer based on the way you operate with them and what you get out of making records there. You know what I'm saying? You know, but yeah, absolutely. You know, brand is, so to answer your question initially, man, social media is your TV network as an artist. And it's a place that gives you, never before in history has been like this. You've always had a gatekeeper you had to go to in order to get your messaging out there. Now you can,
right in front of you,
from your own phone, you can get direct to consumer. Direct. And there are platforms that allow you, you know, to do that. And it's amazing. It's amazing. But people use it as, they don't understand that concept as artists, unfortunately. They already think that just posting, people are going to be interested. Nah, it's not like that. You have to generate that.
I mean, they have been fooled as they're watching the overnight success stories, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, there's those artists who come into the game because they seem like a pre-packaged deal. Yeah. And I think that's really what labels are investing in right now. That's what they're putting in front of us. Yeah. If you actually look at a lot of label pages, you'll see the artists that they have, and a lot of them you probably won't recognize, a lot of them you won't see like throughout your normal day-to-day. But if you were to look them up on IG or whatever, hundreds of thousands of followers. And that's really what the deciding factor was. Labels saw that. They said, okay, well, this has a built-in audience. So we picked them up and we took them in.
That's it. That's it. It's influence, yo. And I used to tell people in the studio this all the time, like, we are in the age where it's like an economy of attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and followers on Instagram are not your fans.
Oh.
They're not your fans. Like, you can't quantify those as fans, but what you can quantify them is opportunity. They're like, if you have 100,000 followers, you have 100,000 opportunities to create a fan. That's all it is. But they're not your fans. They're just, think about how you follow people. A lot of times we follow people just like, we meet each other today and we just follow each other. I don't really know much about you, but I'm gonna follow you because I want to see what you got. You know, but it's not like I'm a fan. I'm on a fan when that brand message is strong and it resonates with me, and then I become a fan, and then you have that, you know, that funnel to take them off the platform and where you want them to be. So, yeah, you know, I think that where we are now, we got to get people to be a little more patient with building something, and that's the key. When you don't have the Okay, J. Cole, I seen an interview with him recently. He had many opportunities to not only renegotiate his deal, but to get better terms on his deal. But he waited. That man waited. He bet on himself. He could have got a lot of money for doing it because, you know, with any deal, when you are successful, you can renegotiate and you can get more money for your next project. Waited, build leverage to the point where he is now. He's basically can do whatever he wants. He got them by the balls, bro. So that's what I want for artists. I want artists to have that. But I understand that everybody comes from situations. They need that
immediate.
They need that immediate. But in order to be great, bro, you got to bet on yourself. Because you came to a certain level hustling, working, working hard, developing your skills, developing your craft. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop when people start throwing money in front of you. That just means that, okay, I'm on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I have a heart for artistic expression. And I hate when other people that remain nameless control our expression. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. And I think the only way to build freedom and to build true leverage is basically just equipping yourself with knowledge.
Yes.
That's really it, you know?
And again, you seem like the perfect person to bring that to the artists that need it. What's the best way for them to start being considered? Because you can't even just tap in, and that's a beautiful thing too. Like, it's not something that you can just buy into. As artists, you have to kind of earn this through your dedication.
Absolutely.
What's the best way as an artist to present themselves to you, to your affiliates, to put themselves in a position to benefit from this?
Yeah, bro. So just tap in with me on Instagram. That's it. It really isn't any type of like, you know, rocket science. You know, Chris Belmont, Instagram, Bakery Music Group on Instagram. Shoot me a DM, send me what you got. I review everything. I review everything that I get in front of me. And if I like it, you know, we can work. You know what I'm saying? If I don't, respectfully, I would, you know, respond right now. We just started this company. So right now, I'm responding to everybody, you know, but it may get to a point where it gets a lot, but I really want to keep that mindset. I you know, because, you know, I want everybody to feel like they're included, you know, but hit me up, Instagram, you know, Chris Belmont, ChrisBelmont, which is my name, and Bakery Music Group, spelled like how it would be spelled. And yeah, we tap in like that.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. She wanted to talk about my fast too. That's I'll say real quick, because this is another thing that's really near and dear to my. You see how passionate I am about artists, but I'm also just as passionate about health. And so I used to be 400 pounds. You know, I used to be a 400-pound guy. I'll give you a picture so you can flash up on the screen.
Yeah.
But and I humbly say this. I don't say this to come across as some expert. I'm really not an expert. My girl actually really is an expert. Like, she's really expert at this, and she's the one that put me onto this.
But you're a witness to it.
But I'm a witness to it because I've done it. I've done it myself. So I'm currently on a 90-day fast, and it's influenced by Dr. Sebi. And one of the mindsets, the mindset behind it is that our bodies heal itself. We got to stop like listening to these commercials and listening to all these pharmaceutical companies tell us that we need them to get healthy. We don't need nobody to get healthy. We need all of ourselves, especially as melanated people. We have to understand that the power is within us. So I take myself away from digestion for 90 days in order to allow my body to heal. And, you know, in the process, you lose weight, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to build discipline. And right now we're in November. I do it during the holiday season to build like ultimate discipline, because there's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas. Yeah, my family, you know. Wow. So I do that for a reason. And I only say this to, a lot of people ask me, it's like, "Yo, how do you go without food for that long, bro? Like, how do you eat like that for that long?" We actually survive in spite of what we put in our bodies. We literally survive. But I know I live this, bro. Like I have the roles to like show you. Like, our bodies are incredible that the way they survive at the amount of salt intake we have, the amount of sugar we intake, and weaning yourself off of that stuff clears everything up, bro.
Is it average? What is the I believe the term is average. I'm gonna look it up, so don't quote me on that. But it's basically when your body is, you know, you don't take in. When you're fasting, it allows your body to focus on the elimination of bad cells in your body, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where it comes from. You eliminate inflamed cells, you fight inflammation, you remove cancerous cells, particularly infected cells, things of that nature. Dead cells that are kind of just taking up space within your body, right?
Absolutely. You heal your body.
But this is information that's been suppressed, though. That's been suppressed because of big companies who market. Like, I just found out that freaking cereals, the whole eating breakfast and all of that.
Oh, that was a campaign.
That's a campaign.
That was a propaganda campaign.
We're not supposed to be waking up and eating breakfast and all of that. Nah.
No.
Well,
that's why they call it like the whole breakfast. You're breaking your fast and all that. These are new things that I'm just finding out now.
Bro, listen, the food that we eat in this country are products. They're products. No, think about it. It's not food. They're products.
I know.
Shout out to Dr. What do you call it? Dr. Holistic. He's one of the people that I learned this from, just watching on YouTube. but it resonates with the things that I've already been learning. Like everything that we eat is a product. Even some of the fruits we eat, you know, they're products that are made to make. The main purpose of them being on the shelves is to make money, not for health purposes.
What's going on? I go by the name of E-Man Music, 1/3 of Real and Uncomfortable, and right now I'm here in Diesel Music Studio. But I just want to let y'all know, Righteous Felon is back. They have merch now, you feel me? So make sure you check them out, support them. They got a whole bunch of flavors. When I tell you a whole bunch of flavors, and the names are off the chain. We got the Teriyaki Balboa, which is a tangy teriyaki with a punch of pepper. So I'm assuming this one's a little spicy. My personal favorite one is the OG Hickory, okay? If you want the small one, you can hop on the small one. But this is the one that I've had. I love it. It has a little smoky flavor to it. You know what I mean? It's like a classic smoky flavor. It's gluten-free, all natural, and it's a great source of protein. If you want to get yourself some, make sure you hit up righteousfelon.com. And if you want to save, make sure you use the promo code POLY15. Now let's get back to the show.
I was saying earlier that we eat products and our body breaks down like how we break a building down. Like say you want like cement. That's the main thing your body needs. But we eat a building in order to get that cement. So that means your stomach has to go through all the wood, all the electrical, all the plumbing, all everything in the house to get to the real building blocks.
Yeah.
And so somebody asked me earlier, they were like, yo, so how's your body digesting if you're drinking a green juice? Well, what I'm doing is I'm giving my body exactly what it needs, and it doesn't have to waste anything out. I just pee it out because, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Please, like, you know, I'm not somebody that's an expert in this. Do your own research. Do your own research, bro. It's out there. I've done it. But the thing is that I'm 43 years old, you know, and, you know, I'm at the place in life where I'm like, yo, how am I going to extend my life the right way? And to be able to do that, when you digest food, it slowly ages you a little quicker. And if you're eating 3 solid carb-dense meals a day, you aging yourself crazy because your body has to work that much harder to break down that building just to get to that cement, you know? So that's one of the things that is a big message. I don't have anything to sell with that information, but it's just
not making money off these. Has no product.
I don't have no product to sell there. But the thing is that the only reason why I try to highlight this type of living is because I believe in our people, and I want our people to stop being slaves. I mean, we thought we would stop being slaves 400 years. No, we 400 years of slaves. No. We're still slaves because we're slaves to these products that we eat, and they're keeping us docile, they're keeping us down, and they're keeping us. They're enchaining us, and we're not free. Health is true freedom. Time and health is way more important than money.
1000%.
So anyway, I just
absolutely
say that.
No. They say that I think they said you know, if I can give you $1 million today, but you knew that you would pass tomorrow. Would you take it?
Right.
And absolutely not, because time.
Absolutely.
And they dialed it back. They were like, okay, cool, fine. I'll give you $1 million today, but you knew you'd be sick the rest of your life. No, again, you wouldn't take it. Health, time.
Here's the other thing. I'll give you $1 billion today, but every great relationship you have in your life, you got to give it up.
That's one that people make that decision every day without thinking about it.
Ooh, absolutely.
Every day. I know I subscribe to hustle culture sometimes myself. Yeah. But ensuring that you water the relationships that you have is great for your mental health. It's great for any goal that you may have. Correct. And most importantly, it makes that time that you have fulfilling.
Fulfilling, bro. Fulfilling. Listen, I don't want to be broke. But I'd rather be broke and rich in spirit, rich in relationship, and rich in time. Because I know I can always make that money with time.
Money's going to come and go. You can get it back.
Bro.
And most of the times, the wealth is in the relationships anyway.
Yeah.
In order, any businessman that you will find, they will always tell you they didn't do it alone.
Absolutely not.
Earlier you said, like, you know, I might not be an expert on this, but I can get you in touch with the people who are. That's literally how business works. Yep. Like Buffett, you know, Rockefeller, you know, not that you may want to strive to be like these individuals, but they will tell you the keys to massive levels of success, or any level of success, is making sure that the relationships are there.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
You don't have to do it alone. You can't do it alone.
just for artists who are watching, that's something that a lot of artists don't realize, because a lot of artists are introverts and they want to by myself, me. One thing that I've realized over the years is that it's super important to build the right relationships, because you can have the best product in the world.
Absolutely.
If you don't know who to call, if you don't know, you know what I mean, how to connect the dots, you're gonna be stuck.
Yeah,
you feel me? So
absolutely.
building relationships, watering relationships, and making sure that you have those connections is gonna be super crucial to your success.
And the
as an
right
artist.
relationships.
relationship.
Yeah, because because you can have some leeches. There's two type of relationships. There's the givers and the takers.
Yeah.
Facts.
And you want some givers around you, mostly.
Well, I can honestly say that it's great to create this relationship now, man.
Sure,
It's been wonderful meeting you and talking to you and hearing about what you're doing for artists, the passion that you have for it, for health, because I know that, like, again, those relationships, you learn from sometimes simply being around people, watching people, seeing how they live, how they do their thing. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys, for
Chris,
sure.
appreciate
for sure.
you.
Yeah.
Great convo.
Yeah.
We gonna talk off the air too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, you hit me with one on the side that we're gonna have to chop it up off air.
Word, absolutely, man. Like we just created a relationship,
For
like
sure.
you said.
There
So
it is.
I'm
For
here.
sure.
I'm here, bro.
For
sure.
Well, this has been Real and Uncomfortable. I'm Ctez.
I've been comfortable this whole time, by the way. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on brand.
We might have.
I've been real and comfortable. So
Well, we might be losing our touch then.
I don't
man.
know.
No. Sometimes you just gotta keep it real.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just keep it real. Be comfortable too, but keep it real.
Yeah,
I feel like you definitely kept it real. Appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Yeah.
We definitely gonna build.
Yeah.
Once again, it's been Eman Music, Real and Uncomfortable. Chris
Ctez.
Belmont,
Yes, sir.
Ctez.
Yes, sir.
Yo, give them your plugs one more time. Let them know where
Absolutely.
they can find you.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Chris Belmont, ChrisBelmont, simple, plain just like that. Bakery Music Group, spelt like how a bakery and music group is spelled. Y'all check it out. Tap in with me. I respond to everybody.
Yes,
There
sir.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I ain't looking for no handouts to say no. Always stack high and stay low.